What's up? Hello,
What
everyone.
up? How are you, pal?
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Hi, Mike.
Hello. Hey, how do you
Hello,
know my
everyone.
name? How do you know my name? How do you
Oh,
know my name?
I've seen a couple of episodes already.
Oh, okay.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mack Flash Five, the show where we like to get together and list our top 5 movies fitting a certain subject. My name is Matt. Next to me is Scott. Under him is AB, and next to him is
some guy.
I refuse to tell you.
He
You'll never know.
refused to tell us. Which leads us into our topic: the top 5 movies we refuse to watch. Now, these are movies that we haven't seen and will not see. We've decided for the rest of our lives we can go on without ever seeing these movies. These are not movies we've seen once and don't want to see again. These are not movies we've seen and we hate entirely. These are 5 movies that we have not seen and will not see. I think if everyone wants to swear to that fact, do it right now.
I guarantee
Put it on
it.
wax.
I guarantee it.
Promise you.
No, I'm not doing it. Well, then get out of here.
We
I'm just
took this
kidding.
list
I'm just
different
kidding.
ways. Some are more intense. We'll get to it, but yeah, by all means.
But before we get started, just tell you how the show works. After a topic is set, we all go our separate ways and make a top 5 list. And then we come back here and we each go once around and give each other and give you that list. We'll do 3, which we talk in depth, and 2 honorable mentions. It'll be 3, 2 honorable mentions, and then 1 to close the show. Usually one of us picks a topic and then that person will start. But this was kind of a topic that we pulled out of a hat, and AB has volunteered to give us his number 3 first. And behind him, I'm sure he'll explain where he is right now.
All right. So right now I'm here at the dump with all the other garbage because I'm going to be talking about some garbage because I refuse to watch refuse. And so back in 1994, a movie came out starring at the time, my favorite movie star, still one of my favorite movie stars. And he had already made a film in 1988 starring Danny DeVito, directed by Ivan Reitman. In 1994, he went back to the well with the same director, Ivan Reitman, and also starring Danny DeVito. That movie is Junior, starring my man, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
It's looking good. Looking good.
A 17-year-old AB, when this movie came out, I was furious. I was like, Arnold, you are the biggest star in the world. You are an action star, and you're gonna star in this trash, or that's basically like a one joke thing. But like, oh look, it's Arnold who's an action star, and he's pregnant. Ha 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 ha! And he figured that out over 2 hours. Garbage. I was so angry when this came out, and I was just like, I'm not having any of it. And it is pretty much that one Arnold movie I've never seen, and I probably won't see it.
No, you refuse.
I refuse.
It's not called top 5 movies I probably
ridiculous.
Won't see.
It is ridiculous. I'm like, it's just, to me, like, now when I look at it, I think my reasoning for it is kind of silly, but at the same time, now I just don't want to watch it because it just looks really bad. It just looks like
it's definitely a one joke film. You're right. You can definitely tell. I guess if there was any reason, I mean, I remember watching it as a kid. If there was any reason to ever see it, it's that they're clearly friends, like the behind the scenes stuff. Like you can tell, like they're clearly friends, and they absolutely got wasted and probably came up with this idea. And Arnold's untouchable, and DeVito's at this height, so they're just like, let's just do it. No, it's gonna be awesome.
Why did they make Twins 2 with Eddie Murphy?
Triplets
then
with Eddie has been rumored for 30 years.
I know. They should have made that instead of this garbage.
At this point,
like I would have watched Twins 2 with Eddie Murphy rather than this nonsense.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because I refuse to watch this junk. So that's my number 3. Junior, never.
I need to do a little. Okay, so Scott's seen it, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Matt.
I have not seen it, but I will not refuse.
Yeah, okay.
There's the one funny scene. Have you ever seen the scene when he has a dream, he has the baby, and doesn't he get handed the baby, and the baby has Arnold's face on it? It's like kind of odd.
Never.
I remember that.
I don't even know if I've seen the trailer.
Fever dream. It's an Arnold fever dream of like being untouchable and being like calling the shots on the film, and it's just awful.
I think they were trying, like, I mean, it's a cheesy film, but I think maybe they were going for the what if men could have babies, sort of trying to like,
definitely.
and as opposed to like, that's how I took it, as opposed to this is Arnold will make him pregnant. I took it like, but it was just like too dumb. Like it was just, there was no rewatch. I just
and like you look at Ivan Reitman, from his writing credits to his directing credits, he makes really great movies, right? He's solid across the board pretty much, and you get that's what he gets out of it. Like, wow.
He also did No Strings Attached too, so
sure.
But which is a better film than this.
I'm assuming
it is. Compared.
That's my number 3.
Yeah, moving right along. Let's hear Mike's number 3.
And it only gets worse from there on out.
We will see.
Well, you're right, because my number 3 is something I'll never put on, and I'm sure most people in the world have seen this because it's a tradition to watch this at Christmas. I don't know why I put that in quotes, but at Christmas time. And you could really have replaced my photo. You can show this, Matt. You could really have replaced my photo with
You're a scumbag.
with Miracle on 34th Street. But It's a Wonderful Life. Get out of here. It's a Wonderful Life because I haven't watched this movie. That's why It's a Wonderful Life.
That's insane.
I refuse. I won't watch this. I won't watch Miracle on 34th Street, and no one can convince me to. Story done. Go now. You can talk about it.
Well,
insane.
Yeah,
It's
to call it
a perfect film.
Yeah, to call it traditional would be an understatement.
Yeah,
it's I mean, it could be. Remember when TBS would rerun A Christmas Story for 24 hours?
Yeah,
I think they could do this for the same for this movie for It's a Wonderful Life.
If they don't want me to watch their channel for 24 hours, yeah.
So why do you just don't like how mainstream it is, or you just?
Nothing
really
about
hipster.
this.
I'm sorry. This is gonna be a really interesting episode. That sounds really hipster to not want to watch It's a Wonderful Life.
Well, it's pretty, but it's also pretty just easy to call something hipster because someone refuses to do it. So this whole episode is hipster. I don't want to watch this because nothing about it appeals to me.
It's James Stewart. It's like America's top 5 greatest actor of all time.
So
have you seen
James Stewart? That means I have to like him. I don't like him in general.
You just gotta see it's like not watching, and I know you can say what you will. It's like not watching Forrest Gump, because it's like the crowning achievement of one of the most acclaimed actors of all time. Like you just for the history of lexicon.
That's how you're paralleling it. But I've seen Forrest Gump and I enjoy Forrest Gump.
If I could turn back time, I would refuse to watch Forrest Gump. But
there you go.
Forrest Gump is very bubblegum.
I mean, it's also very easy to say that you think this is a great movie, so everyone else should think it's a great movie. I have nothing about this that appeals to me. Not a single thing. Same with Miracle on 34th Street. I don't need to watch an old black and white Christmas movie at Christmas time when I can watch something else that'll entertain me, like Home Alone.
Oh, I think it's an incredible existential story about like where he fits in the universe, and like it's like sliding doors for like
sounds like what I really
acclaimed.
Sounds like what I want to do at Christmas. Watch an existential movie.
You should, and know where you fit in the universe and who matters to you the most, and that's what he does.
Not Jimmy Stewart, I'll tell you what.
Oh my god, this is insane. This is insane. I can't believe this week.
All right, Matt, hit him with something else. Make it a Will Smith film.
Okay,
Make it a Will Smith
absolutely not.
But, shatter it part there. Shatter it.
My number 3. I mean, we talked about how Scott brought up Jimmy Stewart, and then Mike's like, just because he's a great actor doesn't mean I have to see his movie. My number 3 also stars, a hot actor, huge for a decade-long superstar. And sure, he's had some dips in his films, but and this is one of them. But you can't argue that he's one of the greatest movie stars of all time. Eddie Murphy stars in Norbert.
Yeah, sure.
And
what do you mean you don't like Norbert?
Saw the trailer.
Awesome
instantly,
choice.
Absolutely not seeing this movie. And it's been so long, going without seeing it. It's easy to say I never will. I mean, the biggest shock about it is that it's Oscar nominated. It got an Oscar nomination for makeup because of the Rick Baker fat suit that Eddie Murphy has to put on to play the obese wife of Norbert.
I didn't know Rick Baker
really?
I don't know if I can't remember if I've seen this.
I don't even think I saw.
I have not.
I always
remember
get
being
it
in the
mixed up
theaters.
with the clumps and all those.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. He's done it before.
Yeah.
Why do we need it? I mean, if it
He
was
did it better.
if
Nutty
it,
Professor is good.
No,
He did
no.
way better.
exactly, Nutty Professor is better. The Clumps looks better. I've seen the Clumps, and it,
Okay.
Nutty Professor is better than Clumps, but Clumps certainly looks better than Norbert.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
It was insane. Maybe Eddie was because that cost Eddie the Dreamgirls Oscar. If you're led to be believed, it came out like a month before Dreamgirls, like the
Ah.
Academy Awards. That's forever what people say.
Wow.
And I'm like, did he
didn't
just
know
do
that.
Dreamgirls? Oh yeah, he did Dreamgirls. Flying
remember
High.
that.
I'm Untouchable. Did Norbit? I don't know. That's so weird. That's a great choice.
Interesting. I like that. I like that little tidbit.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. If you Google that, like, that's why a lot of people say it cost him the Oscar.
Why didn't All About Steve cost Sandra
Bullock?
Bullock the Oscar?
Yeah.
It should have.
year? Was that Blindside
She's
year?
a white female. I don't know.
Yeah.
Was that the same year as Blindside?
Yeah, she got the Razzie. She got the Razzie
Yeah.
for All About Steve and the Oscar for
Well,
Blindside.
she shouldn't have got it for
did.
Blindside. Because Blindside sucks.
Well,
I know what I'm talking about.
That's a separate. Yeah.
Blindside is. I would do 3 Blindsides tonight, but I've seen it. Fucking hate Blindside.
You've seen Blindside, but Scott, tell us a movie you haven't seen.
I'm having an existential crisis with this list. Okay, you guys have done 3 movies that are acceptable for children to watch. I mean, you could be a kid and you can watch them. And when you say movies you refuse to watch, I immediately went a very different route with these movies because I'm a very bubblegum person. I like candy and pop music and bright colors and explosions and superhero movies. So there are some movies that I had to scrape the bottom of the barrel that I would never watch. I would refuse to watch. And I called in some help with my friend James Sipcar. James, thank you for your advice because you're a sick, twisted F and you know all these movies. And we talked. And for my number 3, a movie I'm going to refuse to watch, there's an original, there's a remake, and then I believe there's 3 sequels. But my number 3 movie I refuse to watch is I Spit on Your Grave. I don't know much about it, but a common theme of my movies this week will be body horror, rape, and dismemberment. And as far as I can gather, this movie has all of that in intense spades. I will never be in the mood to watch I Spit on Your Grave. So the only thing I know about that was it got a lot of hate in the remake because they like sexualized it because the whole plot, like they made the poster and she's like in a thong holding it. And I remember seeing that and being like, huh. And then hearing a little bit more and being like, that doesn't make me feel very good. So while you guys all picked kind of fun movies, I'm going to pick I Spit on Your Grave. So I never want to watch that.
It doesn't shock me though that like I feel like you could probably pick 20 horror movies that you.
Well, and we'll get to that.
Right?
We'll get to that with number 1 because I do like, and we'll talk about my love hate with horror later on because you're absolutely right. There's a lot of lowbrow horror and lowbrow horror in GTFO. So for my number 3, with serving as a multitude for lots that I might not have ever even heard of, but I will at this moment say my number 3 is I Spit on Your Grave. Don't want to watch it.
So
I've never seen it.
The original I Spit on Your Grave. It's a revenge flick. The girl in it, all of the I Spit on Your Graves. The girl gets raped by a group of guys, and then she starts going around and starts killing them off one by one. And so the very first one, it isn't as sexual. It isn't sexualized at all. It is a brutal.
It makes. I get it. I get the idea.
And so then, like, it's kind of. When she goes back and has her revenge because it's brutal. Like it's 0% an enjoyable film at all, but you have that satisfaction that she kills them off.
Right, I get it. And the 70s are a dour time.
Yeah,
and
so like
fits that era.
That's fine, but like the new one, people were right to think. I haven't seen the
2010 came out.
I haven't seen the remake because I don't want to go through that again. And like all the stuff that came out of it, that it was like very sexualized and that like it was very gratuitous in a lot of different areas that it didn't need to be, and it's just inappropriate. Like,
well, when you put out a movie like that fits into a gritty 70s era, and then you put it out after the Saw movies come out, and it's all about a torturous porn kind of thing, then it changes your whole tone, right? Yeah. And so now you're making a movie that should be from the 70s into a 2000s movie, and it doesn't need to happen. I mean, we said this before. How many remakes could we put on this? This whole list, if we wanted to, could probably just be
100%.
remakes because we refuse to watch the horrible things that they've done to classics.
Yeah, well, they're just not necessary.
I don't think remakes.
It wasn't necessary to make an "I Spit on Your Grave" remake.
That's what I mean.
I think it's a sequel and a third one too. So yeah.
Now, Mike and AB, you've seen that movie?
I've seen.
I have not seen "I Spit on Your Grave." I just know the genre it falls into, like sort of like Hills Have Eyes kind of.
Sure. AB, you've seen it
and stuff.
Yeah, I've seen the original. I've seen the very original. "I Spit on Your Grave."
Give us a reason to watch it.
A reason to watch it?
Yeah.
Like I said, I would say I kind of did. If that's your thing, is like she is a badass.
It's empowerment. The original
she becomes a badass and like goes around and like kills these dudes horribly. So like they each get their comeuppance.
Yeah, revenge, as you said.
Revenge.
Right?
Yeah, it's a revenge film. So like at the end of it, you feel good that you don't feel good about what happened to her, but you feel good that she got her justice and like wiped these dudes out.
You know what you just made me think here on thinking out loud on the show here. Top 5 revenge movies.
Ooh,
sure.
Baby.
Not necessarily that one, but like that.
Well, that won't make my list. No way. No way. I don't want to watch that ever again. No way.
Scott might watch it for the show. Oh no, he refuses.
These are hard refuses on my part. Maybe what's number 2?
All right, my number 2 is a remake. I did include a remake on here. And if you want to bring her up here, this is a remake from 2010, directed by Harold Zwart. It is The Karate Kid, starring Jackie Chan and Jaden Smith.
My guy, Jaden.
And so,
love Jaden.
When this movie came out, I was furious. I was like, I don't need Karate Kid to be remade. Second of all, and my biggest beef with it is in China. Kid is being taught kung fu because it is in China. Why is it the Karate Kid? Why couldn't you call it the Kung Fu Kid? There's no karate sense in the entire movie. Like, why does it need to be this? Like, literally, you could make the connection and have it the Kung Fu Kid, and people get it. Why is it named the Karate Kid? And why is it tied to the Karate Kid franchise if they're teaching the kid kung fu? And like, I was just like, this is stupid.
And it goes back to what we've said before about remakes. You know, if you want a certain story, like you kind of like it, but you're just change it. Yeah, make a similar film to honor that film
with a name on it.
Yeah,
like people will get the connections and be like, "Oh, I see what they did there." And there's enough like movies over the years that have taken similar stories to other movies. It doesn't need to.
I think the biggest
title on it.
I think, and I'll say the one that they could have is, and again, say what you will about the franchise, but Point Break and Fast and the Furious, and it's different enough with a different setup, coat of paint, a different setting, and it became a mega franchise to the point where it got ripped off on its own remake. But yeah, you're absolutely right. When you pointed that out, if it was just called the Kung Fu Kid, it would have been fun because you would have invoked the old Karate Kid franchise. It would have been a wink and a nod, but calling it that, and I agree, you gain nothing from calling it that. It was Will buying the rights for nepotism for his son. I love both of the Smiths. I love the entire family.
You wouldn't even have to buy the rights. Just call it Kung Fu Kid, and you don't even have to buy the rights.
He owns the rights. That's why he's an executive producer on Cobra Kai. Will Smith.
Yeah, because he owns the title to it.
And like, I just like, if it had come out and been Kung Fu Kid, I wouldn't have gone watch it, but I also would have been okay with it. I've been like, hey, that's kind of fun, whatever. But as soon as they dropped the Karate Kid on it, I was like, okay, that's nonsense. I think even did they even address that in the movie? I've never seen it.
There's nothing. No Miyagi. No nothing. He's from Detroit.
No. But did they address that he's teaching him kung fu and not karate?
Oh, I don't think so. I don't know. I saw it 10 years ago, but I don't think so.
Huh? Because I'm like, that's awkward. Like, especially for all the people that are like in the movie doing the martial art.
It's a good question.
Kung fu rather
I will
than
rewatch and let
the
you
martial
know.
art of karate, because they're obviously two different things, right? It's
show us again how they go though.
Yeah.
Is that what you, okay.
I'm like, there's two different things. You got kung fu and you got karate. These were not karate chops or kung fu.
I was gonna say they look pretty similar.
I'm like, these are two different things and they're completely separate. They're not the same thing.
I'll be happy that movie does exist because Justin Bieber did the theme called Never Say Never, and Jaden's in it, and it's a fucking banger. That song is so sick. And Jaden has the line, no pun intended, was raised by the power of will. And I fell out of my seat when he says it's a rap line banger. It's so sick.
It's interesting because the original Karate Kid had to buy its title from DC Comics because there was a comic called The Karate Kid, and they couldn't call the movie that unless they got permission from DC Comics.
I did not know that. That's interesting.
I didn't know that either. That's
It's
cool.
a movie.
I like these little tidbits.
It's a movie I won't refuse to watch. I have seen the three original, obviously. I've seen most of the Hilary Swank one, and if somebody said, "Let's do the Karate Kid franchise," and we got to watch them all, I'd sit down and watch the remake as well.
I'll say that. Come over.
Not part of the franchise.
I agree with you. I have really no desire to go see it, but I don't think if if my kid was like, "Hey, this is on Netflix or whatever, you want to watch it?" I'd be willing to fall asleep on the couch to it or something.
You wouldn't disown your daughter right there?
No.
That's not enough.
No, that's not enough. No. Maybe It's a Wonderful Life. I don't know.
Yeah. That or your next
get
movie.
Two.
Give us your number two.
What is your two?
What if it was just all black and white Christmas movies?
I would love it. I think it's hilarious. I was like, I hate Christmas movies. Yeah.
No. Okay. So my number two is kind of funny because it's more about the story. So you can actually throw that right up on the screen there if you want, Matt. This is my number two.
Nice.
Now, I refuse so adamantly to watch the three movies I picked that I didn't even bother looking up the year these were made. So this came out sometime.
2003, I think.
There you go. I figured you'd know.
So fucking good.
It's Gosling in a wet
really
shirt. I figured you'd know the year. So this story behind this isn't actually sort of the refusal of watching this, because in fact I've attempted to watch this, I think, no less than 3 times. My wife is obsessed with this movie, and when we were dating, I'd pick a movie like something like Dancer in the Dark, like something really wholesome, and then she'd be like, okay, let's watch The Notebook, and my brain, oh yeah, sure, I love you, let's watch this, and then my body just shut down immediately and I fall asleep. So 3 times at least, it could be more, I was unconscious while this was on, and I've never seen it, and now it's sort of a running gag more than actual refusal. It's just kind of like she'll say, you want to watch The Notebook, and I'll be like, no. And
I'm not tired. Yeah, no, I'm not tired.
It's
too early.
I need later on when I'm sleepy. So that is why that is my number 2.
I have seen this movie. I've seen have seen the one time I've seen this movie. I hate this movie. And here's the reason why I hate this movie. This movie's all about she is cheating on her fiance.
Yeah, cheats on James Marsden.
And like normally in those kind of movies, right? They make the boyfriend to be a scumbag and he's beating her or whatever. No, James Marsden is a stand-up amazing guy. Yes. And he's at the end of it, he's kind of like heartbroken and he, but like things move along. She cheats on him the entire time. I'm like, this movie sucks. Like, this is like, oh, isn't it so romantic? And she's with Gosling. Like, meanwhile, Marsden gets his life ruined. Screw that movie.
And then that's why he had to go do Hop, right? The movie Hop. And then Gosling goes off and does Drive. Like, I mean,
Hop made a lot of money.
I've seen Hop probably like 15 times.
Is he in Sonic too? Isn't he in Sonic?
Oh yeah, Sonic just came out.
Yeah.
It's like
he loves his animated characters.
That was
like team up with animated characters.
Yeah.
Notebook is not bad. It is fun. It is electric. It is a star-making film. I watched it in high school, and I caught bits like later on since. I'm gonna rewatch it for the Rewatchables podcast because I downloaded that one because I want to go back through. It's it's like an announcement film. That's my reason to say it's, again, I know that's on deaf ears. We get that you can't sell the movies you refuse to watch, so you're not going to listen to me, but it is one of the greatest actors of a generation, and it is a star-making film. It is one of his first, because remember, the Titans certainly didn't make him a star. This movie did.
Breaker High
made him a star. No, it didn't.
I watched him on Breaker High.
The Notebook, did Breaker High win him the MTV Award for Best Kiss? No, it did not. No, it did not. This movie did. That was electric.
They melt the screen. They melt the screen.
Spider-Man 1 and this.
I don't celebrate infidelity. Infidelity sucks.
Sure. But Dumb and Dumber also won the MTV Movie Award for Best Kiss. So if you want to judge a movie by that cover, Go right ahead.
Let's go.
Yeah, what's the other one too? There's another one too.
Are you thinking of the joke from Tropic Thunder?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. There's another really terrible one too. The one the MTV Best Kiss.
Oh.
It's really.
Okay, think
awful.
about it. We'll start from
Yeah.
the beginning, and then
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
do it again.
Any of the Twilights, I'm
Joking.
sure.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay,
Matt, what you
up to me. My number 2. Let's see. I've got a list of 5. I haven't put them in order. So I'm really just looking at it's like, oh, that's bad. That's really bad. That's not as bad as that one.
I refuse to put them in order.
I refuse to put them in order. I think I'm going to go number 2. So sequels. This happens a lot with sequels. You see a movie, you think it's great. The second one comes out, is terrible. Maybe you've seen it, maybe you haven't. Maybe the trailer just dissuaded you from seeing it at all. This did that for me. Son of the Mask.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
The Jamie Kennedy vehicle.
No one has.
Jimmy Kennedy was enough to refuse that right off the hop there.
Agreed.
No arguments. I think we're all agreed on it.
Yeah. I think we've all refused to watch that. I've never seen it.
Nope.
I would probably put it on my like 5 to 10. Would never watch, but yeah, no doubt. Why would you watch that? Why would you just not watch The Mask again?
Yeah.
Hey, The Mask is perfect.
Yeah. 1,000%.
I envision that's how like a lot of people fired that up on something like, oh, Son of the Mask. Let's put the mask on again.
Yeah,
like I'm just
no
watching
kidding.
people do
Rewatch
that.
So
Cameron Diaz again.
you're not going to put that on your double features list? Like
Absolutely not.
Mask
No way.
and the Son of the Mask right after? Oh, okay.
Now, I remember the trailer or the teaser for it. I think it showed a baby's crib, and then suddenly, like, that tornado goes off.
Yeah, I think so.
And I think a
yeah.
CGI baby with the green face shows up.
Oh,
I agree. I think it was Jamie Kennedy's watching his kid, and the newborn
Right.
gets the powers.
Yeah. It has
Isn't there,
nothing
like,
to
a
do
puppy
with the
on there,
original,
too,
I
because
don't
there's
think.
a dog in there? I don't know.
There might be a dog.
There
It would
probably
make
Well,
has
there
sense.
was a
to be,
dog,
right?
but I didn't know if remember if it was the same dog as
No Milo,
or if it's
not
a
the
puppy.
keys, not the cheese, the keys. Let's just quote The Mask right now. Honestly, you better kiss
You're
your
just
ass
kind of
goodbye.
like go off
Yeah.
talking about.
Let's just
Son
talk
of
about how
Mask was
great The
stupid.
Mask is.
But it kind of I don't want to say got pushed on me. It became something that showed up on TV a lot, and it kept having
Son of the Mask did?
No, the Son of the Mask. Yeah, I
Oh.
think maybe it was on maybe the Family Channel or or
so
YTV.
you were actively avoiding it.
Or
Like,
You're
YTV
super
had it on.
But
It said
YTV sounds perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah,
air
like
that
coming up
scumbag
this
stuff.
Friday. Make sure you tune in for Son of the Mask.
no.
I'm going out and I'm not coming back until tomorrow.
Okay, that was my number
a
2.
good one.
Yeah,
Scott.
that's solid.
God
Yes.
damn it. Okay. Let's
Bring
get
down the
heavy.
lights. Bring down the
There you
lights.
go.
Okay, so I have nothing really to say. Just when you Google worst, most gruesome movies,
dude.
vile movies to never watch, this one always comes up. It is a French film called Irreversible
Oh, jeez.
with Vincent Cassel
Oh.
and Monica Bellucci. And I'm just going to end it on this. There's apparently a 14-minute rape scene. And Jesus Christ, you guys pick G-rated movies. I don't want to watch Monica Bellucci be getting raped for 14 minutes.
Yeah, it is.
So-
It is terrible.
Vin-
Wait,
Vincent
you've seen it, Andrew?
I have seen this. Yeah,
Sure. It's like a big
I've
movie.
seen
It's
it.
got a lot of people in it.
it's Gaspar Noé. It's Gaspar Noé. He's a famous director, French director. And so one thing I will say about this movie, and like I don't want I've seen Spit in Your Grave. I've seen Irreversible.
Sure.
I don't make it a point of watching rape films. This movie, and I know I won't defend it to a point. I will defend it to a point where if you watch this film, not that you would ever want to in the first place, but you will never look at rape sexually ever. Like you,
So that's its purpose, though. right?
it does a so good of a job of showing just how
Horrible.
terrible and utterly disgusting the
Yeah.
act of rape is,
Yeah.
and how it destroys her as a human being. And like you will never, and again, not that you would ever do it, but like I kind of think we as men take rape can take rape lightly, and we don't understand how terrible and how traumatizing, how
Psychological,
world destroying it can be, and irreversible out of any depiction of rape and its effects. It has done that. Like I will never ever take rape lightly because of that movie. And so, like, although I don't celebrate rape movies, I will say I'm kind of glad that I watched it, because
you don't take it lightly. That's good.
I will never ever when I find out, like, say I find out someone has been raped, I will never take that lightly. I will never take it coming out in the news or any of those kind of things. So if someone has been raped, I will never take that lightly, and that was because of that film.
Is that essentially the main plot point, and then her
100%
dealing with it?
100%,
Yeah.
yes. And
So that's always...
like, it shows her, like, basically shows the effects it had on her life, and the extension of like the people around her, and like it is a fantastic film in the fact that it is very powerful, and it shows.
I'll say two things about it. The one, I remember when I was doing my deep dive, maybe going back college, whatever, maybe a little later, I remember stumbling upon that movie and just like worst scenes. Like I went down a rabbit hole. I remember being up at like 3 a.m. and like going through stuff like that, like saddest scenes in movies and stuff, and just like seeing, and this came up, and I remember avoiding it, but then this came up on a list as I did my research for that. And I mean, I could have gone, and I'll say the one last thing, because it, as you said, it kind of reminded me of the story I want to say. And I could have put The Accused. I've never put The Accused on here, but ultimately I kind of, and again, as a person who's never seen either, I kind of would have felt that The Accused was probably a more Hollywood version of it, and Jodie Foster 100%. Won her Oscar. So ultimately, after we saw Silence of the Lambs, I could maybe see The Accused, because she won an Oscar for that as well too. I do remember we almost watched The Accused in high school. And I remember we were in law class, and we did a vote, and we did a private write-in vote on if the class feels comfortable to watch The Accused. And I remember we didn't watch it. I voted no. And I don't remember the tally, but I remember being in grade 10, and he was talking about the movie, and then we had a vote, write our answer or circle or whatever it was, and put it in a hat, and then he counted them out. And if it had yes, we would have watched it. Weird. But otherwise, I didn't put The Accused because this one seems a little bit more raw, and that's exactly what you proved. So my number 2 is that wild French film, Irreversible.
Yeah. I like The Accused. The Accused is a fantastic film too, and it kind of shows like the after effects of it.
Sure.
But I would say that Irreversible, that scene, and you talked about it's 14 minutes.
14 minutes.
It
fuck out of here.
It's
sorry.
Like The Accused, kind of they kind of gloss over that scene. Like you said, it's a Hollywood version of it, and I think honestly, that's a disservice, because like you want to hammer home just
and that's why I went just on the idea. Do you go with the Hollywood blockbuster with proven actors, because Kelly McGillis, I believe, was the lawyer, or do you do the independent French film that has nothing to lose? So continue through. What do we got? Honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions. Yeah, we're burning through this episode, which is not a bad thing. Honorable mentions. AB is going to start with his 2.
Okay, and so I'm going to lump 2 movies together, because there's one, and it's a sequel of which I've never seen and I will never see. Oops. And so bring it up, please. That would be The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. I've neither seen either of them. I will never see either of them. I have seen the Spider-Man origin story in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans. I don't need to see that again. And so I refuse to watch Amazing Spider-Man. I've heard they're not that great anyways, so I'm not really missing much, apparently.
And with the MCU takeover, you really don't have to.
And I don't have to. No, I don't have to. It's perfect.
I've seen both in theaters, and we'll talk about, it's weird. It's definitely just a cash grab. It's purely a cash grab.
Yeah.
And so okay. So anyway, it's an honorable mention, so I don't need to talk about it anymore. So, and my other one, Scott's going to like this one, is Independence Day Resurgence.
I wish I didn't. It's my biggest regret. I watched it. I downloaded it.
I hate Independence Day. Is one of my all-time most hated movies of all time, and so there's no way in hell I'm gonna go see a sequel of that movie. And it doesn't even have Will Smith in it, which is like the one probably good thing about Independence Day that I actually would like. It doesn't even have that. It has like
no Will, no me.
Hot garbage.
It doesn't even have Ross Bagley in it.
Who's that?
his kid from the first movie?
No,
Oh,
it's
sure.
I believe it's Jesse T. Usher. I think his kid is A-Train on The Boys, if I'm
Is
not
it really?
mistaken. Yeah, Jesse T. Usher.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And they recast the Mae
Isn't-
Whitman role too.
Isn't Goldblum in it for like 30 seconds or something?
No, he's actually a character in it. I watched
Oh.
it. I think I might even watch the cam version. I remember the trailer looked cool and then the reviews were bad, so I downloaded it. Goldblum's in it for like 20 minutes, but it's brutal. And Pullman's back, and it's just
No, thank you.
No, it's
No,
brutal. I
thank
wish I didn't see it.
Mike,
Mike.
your honorable mentions.
All right, dishonorable mentions. So I lumped more than 2 films together here for both of mine. So honorable mention number 1, anything live action Disney. No, thank you. Remake, I should say. Remake live action Disney, like Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, etc. What's the point? I've already seen it. Don't need to see it again. And then my other one is Woody Allen film. You put out a Woody Allen film, I avoid a Woody Allen film. Next, I'm done.
That's interesting. I don't know.
And
I see many.
Won't disagree
Midnight
with
in
the Woody
Paris is
Allen
good.
part. I've seen 2 or 3 of his movies, but when I pick up a movie, it's like, oh, he made it. I'll think long and hard about whether I want to see it.
Yeah,
Here-
so I can't
The
name
exception,
Wait,
the exception,
honorable mention. Honorable
the
mention.
exception to where okay, whatever. You talked the
We got lots
longest.
of time.
You
No,
have
no, no,
pictures for your honorable mentions.
Psst.
It's got you there.
The exception to that is I did see the one with Larry David because it's Larry David, so I had to check it out. That was the exception to that.
I think AB's
whatever
going to
works.
continue the conversation with his number 1. My honorable mentions. Okay, let's see. Let's put on Charlie and the Chocolate Factory,
Sure.
the Tim Burton Willy
Yeah, I haven't
Wonka
seen that
remake.
either.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
I support that, even though
Great
I've seen it
choice.
several
Yeah,
times.
same.
And any Jaws sequel.
Man.
Great.
That's-
We
Man.
talked
that's
about it
awful,
last
man.
time.
That's awful. Come on. Jaws 2
That's
is
good though, because he's a purist. That's actually awesome.
Yeah, well, the
Awesome.
first one is fantastic, is amazing, it's perfect, it's Spielberg. 2, maybe it's good. I wouldn't know. I've heard it's not
two.
bad. I've heard the
I
best
support
review
2.
I've heard of it was it's not bad. It's not that bad.
It's a
But
great review.
no Spielberg affiliation to it. Unlike the Jurassic Park sequels that I don't like either, but his name's on it, so I went to go see them. And 3 and 4. I mean, what's the point? I'm not even going to bother.
The best thing I'm going to say, it's the oldest, you guys all know it. The best thing about Jaws 4 is Michael Caine's quote saying, I've
Sure.
never seen the film, but I've seen the yacht or the house that
The
that
house.
film's paycheck bought, and it is
Yeah.
beautiful. That's an
Yeah.
awesome quote. God bless Michael Caine.
What was that? Was that
Honorable mentions. I'm
was
kidding.
that July?
Like,
Sorry,
Was that
what?
July when that the anniversary came out or whatever? And I watched all 4 in a
Okay,
row.
oh,
Yep.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
The 3 and 4 are terrible.
I heard
I'll
2's
support
not
that.
bad.
2 is awesome.
Scott.
I'm down.
So we're gonna go. I have a theme with my 2. We're gonna go with like egomaniacal, power hungry directors, and I'm never gonna watch any of their work. So first and foremost, I'm gonna go with Lars von Trier's Antichrist. I don't know what that movie's about. Self mutilation, crazy shit. I know one thing about Hollywood is Lars von Trier is a absolute raging psychopath. F that guy. And the second one could have been a million other different movies. Sipcar gave me about 100. We talked a few off screen. But I changed it up right now, and I got to be honest with myself. I'm never going to watch Vincent Gallo's Brown Bunny because fuck that movie. Sorry again.
That's a great
I've
pick.
seen a scene, and I regretted
I-
it, and it tarnished an actress's entire
I think
career
I know
for
what
me.
scene you watched.
And I'm never going to go back. The one thing I like about that movie is that if you guys clearly don't watch Entourage, but Billy Walsh's character is based on Vincent Gallo, and Vincent Gallo and Roger Ebert had an incredible back and forth for years. Gallo said some horrible things, and I don't know, but that movie can burn in hell. The behind stuff, interesting, whatever, but those are 2 directors that I don't even want to give a claim to their work. So Lars and
okay,
Vincent
but I
Gallo.
have a bone to pick with you. Dancing in the Dark is an amazing film.
What is
so
that?
you're
Is that
missing
Lars von
that.
Trier?
Yeah,
Bjork.
Bjork, Lars von Trier, probably one of my favorite
He's good.
films
Fair
from
enough.
like that time period.
And it doesn't fit the bill of like.
Don't
No.
make me watch
and the rest of
Antichrist
those.
though.
No, it has nothing to do with anything else he's done.
Sure.
Just
Katie, what do
Okay.
you got?
we're gonna move
Number
on.
ones, right?
AB's
All
number
right.
Oh
one.
no, yeah.
So we've talked about this gentleman a little bit, and I also refuse to watch anything done by this man. I don't understand why he's still celebrated in this country and in America. I don't understand how he gets a free pass when guys like Polanski had to be shipped out of country and like in hiding, and why there's like. Shows up at Hollywood galas and everyone's like, "Oh, yay, this guy's awesome." This guy's a scumbag, and I refuse to watch any of his movies. And I will put my number one movie, and I have not refused to watch this movie solely besides all that other stuff. And it's based on the fact that it beat out Star Wars in 1977.
Yeah, that had to be.
And it is
It's a great one. I've never seen it, but I'm gonna refuse it too.
I refuse to watch it because it beat out Star Wars in 1977. I'm like, this thing's a piece of garbage made by a piece of garbage, and it's no way it's better filmed than Star Wars or had a better impact on film than Star Wars did. Star Wars blew up the world. And
Love it.
This hunk of junk.
Talk about a look back in time and go, what? Like you compare the two.
Well, I mean, it sucks because look at the people that are involved there. There's Chris Walken, Paul Simon, Diane Keaton,
Carol Kane, Shelley Duvall.
Shelley Duvall. Hi, I'm Shelley Duvall. That's a reason not to watch it. But it sucks because this movie constantly comes up on like the AFI Top 100, and it comes up on all these lists, and I can never check it off because I'm like, I'm never gonna watch this piece of crap.
Awesome.
So no, thank you.
Yeah. The only reason I did watch that movie was to check it off. And I understand the acclaim that people have for it. If you ever do see that movie, you'll notice that so many romantic comedies and TV shows have lifted and ripped it off so many times. It's almost like the the Seven Samurai of rom-com movies. But after that is like, I was okay, I've seen it. I'm done. I get it, but okay.
I literally don't understand how, like, I mean, people like call him out all the time for that stuff, but he still shows up on all these events and people like laud him.
He doesn't though. He's been
less now.
Yeah, well, he hasn't been to the Oscars for a while. I think he's won an Oscar recently and he wasn't even there to get it.
Good. Ship him off to another country like Roman Polanski.
He'd love that.
Good. Oh yeah. All right. So, Mike, you're number one.
Oh yeah, moving right along here. Okay, my number one is my number one for a very specific reason. I'm sure Matt can guess this. You want to put that up there, Matt? It is The English Patient, and it is very specifically because I'm obsessed with the television show Seinfeld. And when I saw that episode where every single person was telling Elaine that she must see The English Patient and how great The English Patient is, The English Patient, The English Patient, The English Patient, and she blatantly refuses, but she gets dragged in there by her boss. And I just like loved that scene so much. I made a pact with her that I'm not going to watch this movie because you would love that I don't watch this movie. My favorite part of that episode is she's sitting in the theater watching the film with her boss and Peterman, and she yells, "Quit telling your stupid story about the stupid desert and just die already, die!" And I don't know what that's in reference to, but it's fantastic. And then she gets like fired subsequently by him because he loves it so much. But I will say that there's the scene there. I will say that I am, and you'll only know this if you're a Seinfeld fan, but I am still waiting to see Sack Lunch. That is what I really would like.
Don't you want to know how they got in there?
Don't you want exactly? It's a family in a brown paper bag. Were they shrunk down? Is the bag really big? Anyways, all right. That's it. I've
seen English Patient in the theater and it was boring as hell.
That's kind of the point they were making.
Put it on.
That's the point they were making, and so it's like there was nothing that made me want to go see that.
I remember when it won the Oscar. I remember when it won the Oscar, and I was like, "How did that win the Oscar? That movie
Oscar
is
bait.
so boring."
Yep.
And because of that, I bought it. It's on my shelf. I bought it years ago.
Or Best Picture.
and I haven't watched it yet, but I will because it won Best
terrible.
Picture. And
Oh,
I kind of
that's
want to check it off the list for that.
Yeah.
What did it beat out?
I think it'd be
don't
Jerry
remember.
Maguire. Was that 96?
As I said, I did not look
Somewhere
up
in
the
there.
year because I refused.
I feel like it beat out Jerry Maguire. I don't know. Bring it up. But yeah.
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know. But whatever it was, like
I'll
it
look
was
up on
so boring.
It came out in 96. Yeah.
No.
There you have it.
That's one I don't blame you. And like the only reason why I went to see it was to again check off lists. So
Okay. My number one is a movie, obviously, will absolutely 100% refuse to watch. Trailers for it showed up in my X-Men the Animated Series DVDs. I think all of them. And for some Disney DVDs, I think some DVDs, you can't always skip previews like that or go straight to the menu like you want to. So I've seen the trailer a few times. It's disappointing because I think it's a Jerry Bruckheimer production too. And clearly it's a Disney movie. My number one is G-Force.
Oh,
The guinea pigs who have to save the world movie.
I love that that's your number one movie. I forgot that it even existed.
And
That's awesome.
it's got a great voice cast. I think it's Sam Rockwell, Tracy Morgan.
Oh yeah,
Penelope.
Sorry.
I think it's Penelope. I
couldn't
don't know if
tell
it's
you. Think
Penelope
about it.
Cruz
It's
or
wild.
the other one, Selma Hayek maybe. And oh crap, I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. Doesn't matter. But it also has homie from Between Two Ferns.
Galifianakis?
Galifianakis is in it. Yeah, he plays like one of the humans who I think invents vehicles for the.
Is it on Disney Plus?
It should be.
It
It's a
would be.
Disney movie, pretty sure.
Oh shoot! I think I'm gonna watch that after.
but don't fall for because that happens a lot with animated films. They load them up with stars, and it does not make the film good.
No, I'm
Right.
joking. I'm joking.
Yeah.
I'm not watching that.
I can't wait for your review next week.
Yeah,
I
I'm
feel
not
like-
watching that. I'm not
I feel
watching
like-
that thing.
I feel like we were preparing for Disney trivia a few years ago, and we all had our films to watch, and that one we just all avoided. Like
Yeah,
none of us
probably.
we did all of our in our lists, and it was left to the bottom. Like no one was jumping at G-Force.
The biggest thing, I mean, there's so much. I've only seen the trailer, but the biggest thing I didn't like about it, and don't like about movies now, are when trailers, they're obviously a big explosion, or how Jerry Bruckheimer movies look, or Michael Bay movies look, or Tony Scott movies look, and then a character shows up on screen and says, "That's what I'm talking about." You lose me right there. I almost don't want to see your movie because of that line in the trailer.
Awesome.
I'm pretty sure it's used in Pacific Rim 2. And dude from It's Always Sunny shouts it out and like,
Charlie Day.
Yeah,
he's the
forget
scientist.
that.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
so
he
weird.
does. You're right. I remember that.
I don't think so. I didn't want to see that second movie anyways
I didn't
because
see
I
that
hate the
second
first
movie
one.
either.
I
But
did. That's on the theater.
Okay.
but yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Christ.
Line
Shoot,
shows
now,
up in.
now I'm gonna be I'm gonna be like conscious of that in trailers now, and every time that comes up in the trailer, I'm gonna be like, oh man,
You'll
Matt's
see it,
right. It's
and
terrible.
Every time it happens, I'm like, all right, well, I'm turned off now. Play
That's
play the
awesome.
next trailer.
Now I can't wait to see. Actually, you're right. I can't wait to see trailers that have that now. You should get Francois to make that in one of the trivias, like the trailer. Like
that's what I'm talking
that's
about, Mix. That's not bad.
I like that.
What you got, Scott?
Scott, you're number one.
Woo! All right.
Jesus Christ, guys.
We're ending with
You had two Oscar winners in a G-rated animated film. My number one is goddamn Human Centipede. Like this.
Sure. I don't want to see that either.
Way off. Nobody does. I'm going to take 10 seconds to talk about this movie. I remember I first heard about it from our old friend Ryan Skane. Told me about it once, like 10 years ago. He's like, "Did you hear about this new movie?" And I went, well, and I think I might even sit there and be like, I'm never watching that garbage ever. And there's no doubt in my mind that I will never be subjected. I will leave one of your houses before I watch that movie. That is the lowest
But
brow.
it's so efficient.
That
It's
is
so
the lowest brow. I don't even want to dignify
Right?
discussion. I don't even like this is my Voldemort. I don't even like saying the name of that film. I feel dirty talking about that. That
I'm gonna
got lit.
I'm gonna clockwork orange you. I'm gonna clockwork orange you and make you watch it.
I would cyanide tablet myself, but you just invert me. But I love horror when it's done well. Like I said, we talk about, and there can be different. Body horror creeps me out as well. But if you want to talk about really smart, thought-provoking horror, it's incredible. When it's done right, it's awesome. One of the best times at the theater I had last year was seeing Dr. Sleep with AB. I thought the movie was incredible. I thought Flanagan did a great job, and I thought you telling me about the book and the story and this and the tidbits and injected was incredible. This is nothing. This is no redeeming quality. It is the worst, lowest common denominator for the worst kind of human being to find satisfaction. There's 3 I've heard of. Don't give me a second of any of them.
You don't want to see full sequence?
I don't know what any of that means. I don't even want to keep talking. I'd rather spend an hour talking about Woody.
First sequence, second sequence, full sequence.
It came out, and enough people I knew saw it that they could tell me all about it, and I was like,
That
okay,
they could
that's
make
enough.
a centipede?
and then they showed up on South Park where they made fun of it. I was like,
that,
okay,
I don't even want to watch that.
I get it. I understand. Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing, right? I'm not going to defend this film, but here's the thing. Horror is horror, right? This film wasn't going for an Oscar.
Sure.
This film knows what it is.
I don't know.
Right?
Yeah,
Fine. It exists in its realm of that. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't mean you need to watch it. By no means would I try to convince them. Now, Teeth, you might want to check out Teeth.
Oh, no.
That's a good
Somebody
one.
tried to show me that, and I was like, I don't think so.
Well, that's a good way to wrap it up.
No rape in that one that I know
of. Yeah.
Ooh.
What
All right.
List. To quote Marty McFly.
Deep breath. All right. That's a good one. Look at that. Under an hour.
A short episode this week because, I mean, episodes where we list movies we don't want to see probably end up that way. But before we go, I want to ask everybody who's watching to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps the channel. Comment on the bottom. Tell us your top 5 movies you refuse to see. I bet there's a bunch of people who don't want to see one of Mike's movies or any of our movies. Agree with us. Yeah, yours. Agree with us. Disagree with us. Tell us what would be on your list. Give us a topic you do want to hear, so long as it doesn't mean our top 5 human centipede movies, because you're not going to get that episode.
There's only 3.
I think that's it. Go to wearitproud.ca for all your Mack Flash merch.
Oh, that's
and if you want Lakers gear or
go to DHK
or a Super Mario t-shirt, visit those various websites as well, I guess.
Cool.
Yeah, I just need to sync up this. Sorry. So for Scott, AB, and you're gonna give your name at all?
That guy.
Braille. I'm Braille.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Come back next time. We'll have another list for you. See ya.
That's what I'm talking about.
Thanks for saving that.